Hi there. In my last video I started talking about composition. Now, interestingly, there were a couple of comments about the fact that that particular view of the image armature that I described was something that was new to people. And that is hopefully something that will stay with some viewers. We have all been bombarded with the sometimes oversimplified idea that there is a set of rules that apply to composition that we must follow. The fact is that many of these rules are merely guidelines, or in many cases merely misinterpretations of what originally had been seen as a law of nature, you might say. For instance, this idea of the golden mean. Now, I'm not going to get into it right now, but basically the golden mean means that a certain ratio of length to width, based roughly upon the Fibonacci sequence. And of course, the further up the Fibonacci sequence you go, the closer you get to that perfect golden mean. That is something that repeats itself a lot in nature. Now, for anybody not familiar with the Fibonacci sequence, please go look it up. For me to explain it here would not be sufficient. But let us just say that in its simplest terms, if we start with the number 1, our second term in our sequence will be the number 1 added to what came before. Oh, wait now. There was nothing before. So it's a 1 again. The next one will be that one added to what came before. Well, hold on. We started with a 1, then we put in a 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. 5 plus 2 plus 3, is 8. So we get that sequence of 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, and so on. The ratio of 5 to 8, for instance, is very close to that ratio. Our regular, everyday 35 millimeter format image, which is a 3:2 ratio, is close. It is within reason of that golden mean because it does fit with an early part of the Fibonacci sequence. But as we get further along, it gets closer and closer to that actual value. Now, enough about that, because that's not my point today. My point today is just this. The problem with photography today, with so many people out there taking so many images with so many different devices, camera phones, of course, this right here being number 1 on the list of what is flooding us daily with images. There have been more images shot in the last 20 years than in the entire history of photography before that. So, rather than just trying to create the same sort of images you've seen before, what a lot of people are finding is that you apply some of these principles loosely and you look for a unique perspective. And therein, I think, lies the takeaway from this particular video. If you can find a unique perspective, a unique angle, a unique position to shoot from, if you can find something that will make a particular subject or a particular subject matter look different, then you have probably achieved a good composition. Now, that doesn't mean, of course, if you don't look at the background and you leave all this clutter back there. One hard and fast rule of composition that is absolutely vital is simplify. Okay, keep your images simple enough so that people know exactly what it is that is the subject of your image. Now, that part's still important. But the angle at which you shoot it from, or things like that, they can all make a tremendous difference. And then simple little things like don't stick your subject right smack in the middle of the image unless it belongs there. There are times that it does. If you are shooting in a square format, something that people use far less these days, but which was once very common because most medium format cameras took a 6 centimeter by 6 centimeter image. Okay, the later 6 by 4.5 has sort of superseded it, but that old 6 by 6 square, that was very important. And it gave you choices afterwards. You could crop in different ways to get different images from that square. And quite often when you're working with that square, putting something right in the middle works. Putting something right in the middle, if it's for some reason you're shooting a 16 by 9 to perfectly fit on a television screen, putting it smack in the middle may not necessarily be the best choice. You may be looking at something closer to the rule of thirds, or maybe even something a little more radical than that. But, as I said, perspective, okay? Find another way to look at things. Don't go out and just blindly follow what you've seen before. That is great for practice, but it can only be a starting point. You have to find a unique way to look at it. All too often I see a bunch of images from different people that are very much alike, and then I get one or two who have taken a completely different look of things, and those are the pictures that you find more interesting. So, I hope you get something out of this video. If you do, then please give it a like. If you have been enjoying my videos and would like to see more, then of course subscribe. And as I've always said, if there is somebody that you feel may get something useful from this, then by all means share it. Well, bye for now.